Hello, Steve White Trickway89 for Steve Arts 89. Yes, Doomcock's at it again. Now I love Doomcock because he's one of the few YouTubers who have created a real character, and he puts a lot of effort into his routine, and it's very entertaining. And he's one of my favourite people. But he, like a lot of fandom menace, they do sort of love certain storylines to get on, and I'm not sure how often they really believe these or how much they just really want to believe them. I don't want to say too much negative because I do like them, I do watch a lot of them, but I do think they kind of get sucked into some of the gossip and that, but so do I. That's why I watch them. But yeah, the latest one is interesting. And some of it doesn't make sense. And Mecha Random was going into that, and I'm like, wow, she hasn't actually watched the video. She's just talking about, okay. I just assume she'd watch all these videos for some reason because they know each other, but I guess she's got her own, she's doing her own videos. I have time to watch stuff. But basically the rumour is that, there are already existing rumours that during the making of The Rise of Skywalker, they were doing a lot of reshoots, that they had done one version, it didn't work, so they went and refilmed a whole bunch of the film. Then that didn't work. And then the other rumour, which was the most unbelievable one, was that they pulled George Lucas in and he had filmed some scenes and rewritten some scenes and reworked the film, and there was a George Lucas cut. Now, a lot of people were like, right, there's no way they got him back. With all the politics and the issues with him selling and what he can and can't do and be involved in, what he can and can't say, all this stuff, there's no way they would have gotten him back in to actually help out. Not only because he would have said, no, sorry, white slavers, no, I'm not working for you. Or maybe but the other thinking was that he would be like, yes, please, I want to like save this sinking boat as you send it down. So a lot of people believed it, and I was like, I don't know how that would happen. But then I thought, would I do that? If I was George Lucas and they came to me and said, yeah, this is not working, do you have any ideas? And I did. Would I just let all that other crap go and just walk in? And I think if it was my baby, I probably would. So I'm not, but is that the cleverness of the rumour that you can believe it? Or is it something that actually happened? So that was the first sort of thing, and the idea was Kathleen Kennedy did a cut, Bob Iger did a cut, like dictated a cut, they didn't actually work on it. JJ and George Lucas were the ones who actually did the work, and I think Bob got the last say. Kathleen supposedly nixed George's version, but Bob wanted stuff reshot from Kathy's version, and then the last version is actually his version. So that's the rumour. Sorry, my stomach is rumbling. So that was the main rumour that was already out there ages ago. But what has happened recently was someone's come to Doomcock, and he believes them because someone went to them, so it's like third hand, and showed them some screenshots of the George Lucas cut, and said that it was recently screened to one of the investors, someone who's very important at Disney, Lucasfilm, or one of them, and they had a bitch fit because that was the version that should have gone to the cinema. And I'm listening to this and I'm like, this just sounds like wish fulfillment, just sounds like clickbait, just sounds like something they're creating because, there's nothing happening and they need the views that they were getting when, the whole Rise of Skywalker drama was at its height. Not that any of my videos got any views for that. I did a couple, but no one cared. That's okay. I'm unimportant. But the thing that was heartbreaking about it was the description of these two scenes. One was that after Rey thinks she's killed Chewbacca, spoilers, she's basically just overwhelmed and saying to herself, why is this so hard? How am I going to deal with this? And then Anakin pops up, his Force Ghost, and basically gives her a nice little speech. Now, there was talk that Anakin was going to be in. Now, this is something I heard long ago. He was announced to be doing a panel with someone else in the lead up to the Rise of Skywalker, and they were pulled out of it, pulled off the schedule 90 minutes before they were supposed to go on, supposedly because their work had already been cut out, and just that their version that they were in had just been nixed. So they didn't want them saying anything about that version or anything to do with the film, because I believe he still did some voiceover. Still had some dialogue that was used in the film, which I don't know if it was recorded for that, or now I'm getting all conspiracy theory. I'm thinking, did they just use some of his lines from the scene where he spoke to her, or is that what he was there for and that's all? So that's where it starts to get murky and you start to get sucked in. But the other one is the heartbreaking one. It's like, supposedly the scene, spoilers, where Kylo encounters like the ghost of his father. Supposedly Princess Leia force projected herself there as well, and Luke. So you had Luke, Han, and Leia all there as ghosts, talking to Kylo, helping him decide basically to turn back to the light side. And we could have had that, and apparently that's what we could have had that was lost. George basically did that. He scripted or filmed. There's only about 15 minutes of scenes that George did. Just maybe it'd have to be more than those two scenes, but there was a small amount that he actually got reshot. Supposedly, I've heard different estimates. Supposedly 45% of the film was reshot just within the whole process, because they were doing reshoots and filming right up until a few weeks before they actually released the film? I can't remember now. There was like a whole drama about it, and it wasn't rumour, because JJ confirmed it, that he did an interview and said we just finished filming yesterday. So they were still doing reshoots and pickups and stuff right up until like just disturbingly close time frame to a release of a film that big and that complicated. So that rumour that they reshot a lot of it does seem quite practical. So the idea there's at least two JJ versions, that he did one version, then people said no, reshoot that, and he did that, I believe that. And the fact that Kathy and Bob got involved and they asked for different things to be done, I can believe that. Whether George was called in, whether they actually filmed anything for him, whether he wrote anything, whether he really changed anything other than just editing or gave advice, because he definitely could have been asked to give advice and been shown a screening and said, well, don't have this, but the rumours of how they screwed him over sort of then again make me question all of that, because supposedly he gave them a treatment for the sequels, and he sold them Lucasfilm and Star Wars under the impression that they were actually going to produce his sequels, and he was just handing it to someone else, and then they just ditched it, took some elements, and then did their own version with their own licensing benefits and all the dramas that if you follow the whole dramas of the Disney Star Wars films, all of that. So I'm not sure if I believe it, because Doomcock has been wrong a couple of times. He's been right a few times as well. He has sourced his material well a few times, but he's also jumped on a couple of bandwagons, and a lot of people have. I jumped on one a while ago. I did a video about something that people corrected me. I'm like, you're wrong. And then a few weeks later, I was like, oh, damn, I was wrong. Fortunately, no, I'm nobody. Nobody cares. I'm not going to get called for it. I'll just leave the video there. But I didn't do like a second one saying, I was wrong about that. But yeah, so I hope that these versions exist, because there's no reason why, because Disney loves money and Disney doesn't have a lot of money coming in at the moment, that they will basically give the film the Snyder cut treatment, and you'll get the George Lucas cut and just different cuts. I mean, why the hell not? Just if you filmed it, if you paid the money to create it, just put it out there. You can make money off of it. The fans are happy, Disney's happy, everybody's happy. The idea that they won't do that because they won't admit making any mistakes, maybe their pride might have like given them that privilege back in the day when the parks were open, and they were basically printing money, but they're not now. And another thing I wanted to do a video on, but I didn't, was that Disney opened, and it didn't go so well, and it's just hard to fathom that people can't go to work, kids can't go to school, but yet people can go to theme parks, because it varies between state and state, and Florida is just like, yep. So they're trying to open, and the one in the Asian Disney, I've forgotten where it is. Is it Hong Kong? They opened, and I think they closed back down after a month because they had problems. And Disneyland opened last week, and just the dramas, and just there were basically the story was, here's all the people at Disneyland with the reopening. They're not they're not social distancing. They're not wearing masks. This is going to be a disaster. That was sort of the story. And Disney's in huge trouble because they, once upon a time, had a lot of money. They've had problems in the past, and they nearly went under. But in the noughties, basically, they were just printing money. So they thought, well, we've got all this money. Let's just go buy a bunch of things. Let's just acquire a bunch of things that will make money off, like Star Wars, which they bought and ran into the ground. And then they actually, I don't think they've profited from it. They haven't lost money yet, but they didn't make what they should have for what they paid for it and spent to produce it. They got less returns because people like me have just been alienated and lost enthusiasm for the film. So I saw it once. I don't have the DVD. I haven't streamed it. I haven't bought it. I can live without it. I'll probably buy it eventually. I'll probably get a box set or something. They'll do this thing, the old Star Wars sells. So they'll do a box set with the original versions, so people, and the new ones, so people like me buy it. So we do end up with a version of it. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm not going to buy a second one. So yeah, so that's the situation they're in. They're struggling. They don't have the income because basically they spent all their money and they had to get loans and lines of credit and all this stuff to keep running because they don't have the money to survive. So I think they will be persuaded to do things they wouldn't have done in the past, like Snyder Cut style versions of films which they want to pretend were perfect because they're perfect and flawless and don't make any mistakes. But yeah, they need the money. So I'm hoping they exist, and because I reckon we'll see them because they're going to need the money. Whether they put it on Disney Plus because they're struggling for content for that, or whether they get the proper Blu-ray DVD treatment. I don't know. I don't care as long as I see them. But I'm going to go. I've talked way too long. It's fascinating. I do love the conspiracy theory stuff, but I just think people should be really responsible about what they actually report and how they report it. There's nothing worse than people talking about rumours as though they're facts. And the one thing I respect most about Midnight's Edge and Doomcock is they always make it clear these are rumours and how they got them and where they got them, so people know what they're getting. So yeah, feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think.